Hey all, welcome to Newspaper Breakdown. It's the third of the first. I hope we are all few bits of news, few interesting stuff around the world happening, which is nice to cover more than just the UK. So we'll start over in the US with the US climate envoy John Kerry. He said that rich countries must respond to the growing anger of developing countries over them taking the brunt of the issues relating to climate change. This is, of course, 100% correct. Although the likes of the island states, African nations, they are amongst the lowest emission emitters. They do tend to pay the highest. With 17 of the 20 most affected countries in the world are in Africa, yet 48 sub-Saharan countries total 0.55% of all emissions. What we've got here, they're doing absolutely fuck all. They're not the ones who are creating the mass madness that we have out here, yet they're taking the fucking brunt of it. At COP27, rich nations did eventually agree to a new fund for loss and damages. However, there's always a but here, there's always a but. However, they did not say how much they were going to give or how or where the money was coming from. They just said, yeah, we'll do that, please stop talking to us, and then they fucked off. We also need to move away, and this isn't part of what he said. This is part of me. I think one of the things that we also need to look at is we need to move away from the idea that carbon offsetting is a good thing. We saw it after the Qatar World Cup. We see it often with massive businesses saying, oh yeah, we're carbon neutral, and you look into how they're carbon neutral and it's always fucking carbon offsetting. It's always credits. It's a distraction. That's what the carbon offset credits are. You can do with it, you can do whatever you like. You can do anything you like. Dig oil, dig coal, fucking set fire to tyres. It does not matter, because what you can do is you can pay money so that a forest doesn't burn down, and then you can claim that what you're doing is carbon neutral. It is a con. It's a scam used by rich people to continue doing whatever the fuck they like, and it's something that we, if we are going to make fundamental differences, need to move away from. With regards to what John Kerry has said, yes, of course, we need to. If it's unfair that people who are doing the least are the ones being hit the most, but that is the continuation of the idea that a meritocracy is a lie. We know this. In this country, the majority of people who fuck everything up are the rich. The people who get hurt the most are the poor. This is just on the world stage. The rich countries are doing the most emissions, they're causing the most damage, and the poorer nations that are just keeping to themselves are the ones being screwed over. You've got massive weather changes, lack of food, starvation, tick, fuck it, it's just... Over in Japan, the Japanese government is offering 1 million yen per child. That's around $7,500. So you can do the fucking math. What's the conversion rate at the moment? Probably around £7,000, something like that. So 1 million yen per child to families who move out of Greater Tokyo in an attempt to reverse the population decline in those regions outside of Greater Tokyo. It will be introduced in April and is a big rise on the previous figure of 300,000 yen. You've got many problems Tokyo are facing, or Japan is facing. That a lot of other countries are facing as well, with regards to the likes of aging and a shrinking populations. Aging is the big one there. We've got a number of first world countries that are facing aging populations because not having as many children. I personally think it's a good thing, but I want to get rid of humanity, so just letting us die out it's a bit too long for me. I like my eradications to be quicker. You've also got the migration of younger people to Tokyo, Osaka, and other bigger cities, which you see in the UK as well. You've got a lot of people coming to London. I wasn't born in London. I was born in Southend, which is in Essex, but it's only 30 minutes on the train to London, and Southend is where the East End came to retire, so I'm just going back. It's my excuse anyway. Also, I didn't want to live in fucking Southend. Yes. I think that's allowed, although that is migration. And you have to look. It's the issue that you had with Brexit and all of this. That concept of migration. Where do you stop? You've got people coming to London because from other parts of the UK for the exact same reasons that people come to the UK from other countries. It's still economic migration, although the majority of people coming to this country isn't economic. It's running away from a war that we no doubt profited from. How many stories left? We've got a couple. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 stories left. Economists believe that the UK will face the longest and deepest recession in the G7. Go us, England, Royal Britannia rules the waves. This is mostly due to us paying a heavy price for the government's policy failings, because we are run by the biggest load of incompetent tossers that has ever come into a single building. The majority of economists believe that the inflationary shock of the pandemic and Russia's invasion of Ukraine will persist longer in the UK than elsewhere. England. This is not to say, of course, that other countries are going to be having fun. They're still fucked. It's just we will be leading the way in swimming through shit. That's the thing. At no point in this am I saying that everyone's going to have like fucking growth all around and just us as a poor island. No, everyone's fucked. It's just we're double fucked. The UK is unusually exposed to a number of things, including the global surges in energy prices and interest rates, as not only are we reliant on gas not matched by our own storage capacity, so we need more gas than we have capable of storing, which means we need to buy more regularly, so prices going up affects us a lot more because we've got nothing to fall back on, or we don't have as much to fall back on. We also have a high proportion of mortgages obliged to renew fixed rate deals at any given year. So if you have a mortgage, you have a fixed rate mortgage that you have to renew every 2 years, then you're going to have a higher chance of being, when interest rates go up like they are at the moment, you're going to be buggered a lot more than, say, if you had a fixed rate deal that you had to renew every 5 years, every 10 years. You'd have a smaller chance of having to renew when interest rates are high. And this is the thing with all of these. You can argue the right or wrong on that. You may roll the dice and get lucky at points. Don't know. So if we add in to the 12 years of a government that has created poor productivity, weak business investment, neglected public services, and damage done to the UK trade by Brexit, you have a machine of blind incompetence that is only able to dig downwards. One of the major ways to solve a lot of our problems is get rid of the Tories, but you say that and then you see Starmer continuing to say that Brexit, we're going to make a great Brexit, and you're not. You're just simply not. But then you have a look at opinion polls, and I don't take tons from opinion polls, but it's always interesting to have a look. You see that at the moment, going back into the EU is the majority. Well, no, it's higher. I think it's like 46%, with 20 odd percent saying no, stay out, and the other percentage not sure. But then if you ask the question, go back into the EU, but you have to take the euro, at that point, stay out goes up. That's in the majority at that point. So if we do go back into the EU, will we have to take the euro? The reason that we didn't in the first place is because we were quite literally running the EU. We were at the top of the fucking food chain. We were gods. We had different rules to everyone. We could do what we like. We had our voice heard. We were leading. If we go back, we'll just be a number, and that will, if we do not do something about the nationalism in this country, going back into the EU will only allow more ammunition from nationalists. That's all it will do. Yesterday, the UK said that its £75 million fund aimed at boosting domestic production of nuclear fuel for power plants and cutting reliance on Russia's supply is now open to applications. This is something that we should be keeping an eye on, especially considering the VIP lanes, everything that happened over the pandemic. This is yet another selection of taxpayer money that will be handed out to businesses. And it's going to be another attempt for the government to either show that they are not the most corrupt selection of people that have ever come, or they'll give it to the right people and fucking the mafia will still be more corrupt than them. That's all we've got at this point. The grants will be awarded to businesses involved in uranium conversion, which is a key stage in of creating nuclear fuel from uranium. Russia currently owns 20% of the global uranium conversion capacity, and that is a fucking sentence, is it not? Jesus Christ. Whew. Interesting to have a look at a party like the Green Party to see what they're for and against. I saw one of the Green Party members say, well, why don't more people vote for the Green Party? And a lot of replies were people going, well, you're against a lot of things that could help lower emissions, which is true. The Green Party, like a lot of the left, in where it's very much, well, you do things exactly my way or you're wrong, and probably a fascist. What else have we got? We've got two more. We've got Sunak has shelved plans for a major overhaul of the childcare system aimed at saving parent money and helping the return to work. We go back to the severe lack of production that we've got in this country. I think I read it a few years ago, if my mind remembers, that our production hadn't been so low since like the 1800s. Yeah, 1800s. Like I want to say 1835, something like that. But it was madness. It was such a fucking tiny number. But then you've got things like this as well, and you've got parents who are having to choose between going back to work or staying at home and looking after their kids because they can't afford childcare. I want to argue about why we've got less people working whilst we've got fucking hardly any production. Shit like this is the reason. It's been postponed indefinitely, with the scale of reforms expected to be much smaller, which is just expected. And finally, we'll go over to Brazil to end. You've got the Brazilian president Lula. His first full day as president saw Brazilian markets fall sharply after he pledged to prioritise social issues and ordered a big extension to a fuel tax exemption. Currently, the currency lost 1.5% against the dollar, with the stock market losing 3.06%. Now, there's a couple of bits on here. The first thing you look at is that Lula is a left winger. When he got in, you had a lot of Corbyn supporters going, "Oh, see, look at him, look at him. Sure, he's not as sexy as Corbyn, but he's still left wing, and he won. Why can't we do this?" And all you have to do is look at the fact that Lula spent a lot more time getting businesses on side and wanting to work with businesses. Brazilian market showing a massive drop on his first day could be a look at suggesting that capitalism doesn't like the concept of democracy or helping out poor people, which capitalism doesn't. But that could be one of the things to potentially look at. As I say, it's complicated. Nothing at this point is 100% sure this is the reason that it's happening. These are just conceptions, ideas of potential reasons. It also could be the fact that the fuel tax exemption is, with extending that, you're taking a big hole out of the budget. And I believe, if I recall, I could be wrong, you could tell me I'm wrong, the last time Lula was in, the Workers' Party, all of their ideas ended up pushing Brazil into a big recession, because you have to be fiscally compliant and look after the economy. However, there is an argument to be made of if you look after the people, then you bring the people up, the economy will grow. We'll have to see over the next few months to see which way Brazil's going to go. I hope it goes well. I do, especially because we need Brazil to do well, so that the Amazon doesn't get completely and utterly fucked. But say it's always more complex. There's always more than one reason. Simplicity is rarely the answer, unfortunately. It would fucking help, wouldn't it? Well, it's another one. I shall talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one.